All right, baby birds, Mr. Klaine here. I want to talk about one of our 6 simple machines. We've got Mr. Hartline here. He's going to hop in and improve some things for us with the measuring tape. But the first machine that we're going to talk about is the pulley. Now, one of the reasons I find a pulley so fascinating as a simple machine is because it doesn't actually create mechanical advantage like their other simple machines do. All a pulley does is change direction, okay? So what that means is when I pull down on this rope, I would have to pull with the same amount of force that this bucket contains, right? So if this bucket weighs 50 pounds, I'd have to pull down with 50 pounds of force in order for it to raise. So all a pulley really does by itself is help change direction.
Okay, I want to demonstrate something because we're going to use this in a minute. So Mr. Klaine said he uses the same force, but he's also pulling the same distance. So if I just hang my tape measure here, and I measure right to where my thumb is, where that knot is, that is at 23 inches. Okay, Mr. Klaine, pull down. Pull down to 40, whoop, stop up a little bit. Up a little bit. Okay, stop right there. Mr. Klaine pulled to 43 inches. So we moved the displacement of 20 inches. And if I go down here and measure, you're going to see that it picked it up 20 inches. So the same amount he pulled down is the same amount that it lifted up. Keep that in mind because we're going to show you something different in a minute.
And that's the pulley, one of the 6 simple machines. The other thing that I've always found fascinating about the pulley, when they list it as a simple machine, and we'll get more into this machine later, but that a pulley actually has a wheel and axle.
Okay, we're back here again, and we now have 2 pulleys. These pulleys are different because each of these pulleys has 2 rollers on it. So you can see the way that we've arranged this rope now, we're actually going, starting here, we're going around this pulley, up and over, down around this pulley, up and over, and then out into the rope that Mr. Klaine is holding. So this gives us a mechanical advantage. Let's see what that is. We're going to measure it. So I'm going to have Mr. Klaine walk backwards and pull on the rope. And he's going to lift the bucket to a height of 4 feet. Keep going, Mr. Klaine. 3 feet, 3.5, a little farther, 3 more inches, a little more, and stop. Okay, 4 feet. Mr. Klaine has raised the bucket 4 feet. Now, does it look like he's moved 4 feet? No, he's moved a lot more. Let's check that. I'm going to hook my tape measure right in here on the pulley on the top. And then I'm going to walk backwards. So my thumb right here is at 4 feet. Everyone see that? I'm going to keep going. How far did he actually travel? There's 10 feet, 12 feet, 13 feet, 14 feet. And here's that knot, that where we started. This is what was up against the pulley, and we are at 16 feet. Okay, so with some quick math, 4 feet up, 16 feet out. That is a ratio of 16 to 4 or 4 to 1. So the mechanical advantage was it was easier to lift, but you had to travel four times as far. What does that do to the effort required, Mr. Klaine?
So what that means is it was actually also 4 times easier to lift this bucket. So for an example, if this bucket weighed 80 pounds, when we use this combination of pulleys, it would actually only feel like 20 pounds of effort.
Good. You want to try to lift me up?
Good. All right.
Yep, good.
All right. So let's see if we can use this block and tackle, or these two pulleys working together to lift old Mr. Hartline. So let's say that Mr. Hartline weighs 200 pounds. If this mechanical advantage is correct, like we proved with our math before, what that means is I would only have to pull on this rope with 50 pounds of force in order to lift 200 pounds. Let's see if I can do it. Oh yeah, nice and easy. 50 pounds, no problem.
Let me down easy. Ah!
All right, guys, what I'm doing here is we're going to set up one of our other simple machines, the lever. You've probably heard this expression before. With a long enough lever, you can move the world. Show them what a first-class lever is, Mr. Hartline.
Okay, this is my lever. This will be the fulcrum right here. So this is the pivot point. I'll put this under my pallet. I'm going to try to lift this pallet up. And if I put the effort force here, you can see that I can lift the pallet with one finger. Pretty effortlessly. And if I want to determine that mechanical advantage, it would be this distance relative to this distance. All right. Want to see another lever with the same thing? Okay. So this will be a
second-class lever.
Okay. How about a second-class lever? All right. This time my fulcrum is going to be the tip right here, right on the end. I'm going to put that against the ground. I'm going to slide it under a little bit so you won't see the fulcrum underneath anymore. Now the resistance is right here where the bar is touching the pallet, and my effort will be out here. Again, very effortlessly. So the fulcrum is the part of the bar that's touching the ground. The resistance force is right where the pallet touches the bar, and the effort is out here.
So, Mr. Hartline, I think what you're saying is the farther this bar goes in and the shorter it gets, the more effort it would take to lift that pallet?
That's true. Again, the mechanical advantage is going to be that distance relative to that distance.
Great. So there's really only one lever left, and that's the third-class lever. And frankly, a third-class lever isn't one that you see all that often.
So, if we think about a third-class lever, we're going to put our fulcrum right here. So this is going to be my fulcrum. That hand is going to stay still. That's the pivot point. This is going to be my effort right here. I'm going to lift in the middle of the bar, and the resistance is out there. Hold this arm steady, pull with this hand. Okay.
And those are your three classes of levers. Good job, Mr. Hartline.
Let's do one more. Stand on the pallet, just put one more. Right out here.
Out here?
Yeah.
So Mr. Klaine weighs about 260 pounds. Mr. Hartline lifts me with one hand. Again, if you have a long enough lever, you can lift the world.
Are you still struggling to find examples around the house? How about this? Anybody have the barbecue tongs at home? What lever is this? Well, the fulcrum is here. The effort is here, the squeezing effort, and the resistance is whatever you're grabbing a hold of is pushing backward. So, a class 2 lever. Fulcrum, effort, resistance. How about another class 3 example? D-handle shovel. Where's the fulcrum? Right here. Right on the handle. Okay, fulcrum. Effort. Effort is here. So where does the resistance? Out here. This is your load of gravel or your load of dirt. So fulcrum, effort, resistance.